The U.S. Army has selected a new service sidearm. I'm Joe Kurtenbach, and this is Lock, Stock, and Barrel. In January of 2017, the Army announced that it had its winner of the XM17 project. That was the search for the new modular handgun system to be used by the U.S. Army and other services. The gun that they selected was SIG Sauer's P320. But before we get to the winner, let's have a little background on the whole project. Back in 1985, the U.S. Army had completed a similarly long and drawn-out procurement process to replace the then service sidearm, the M1911 in .45 caliber. To replace that revered semi-automatic, the Army chose Beretta's 92FS hammer-fired semi-automatic pistol. Designated as the M9, Beretta's 92FS was a double-column, 15-round capacity, hammer-fired, double-action, single-action pistol. It was a perfect service sidearm, but there were many critics, even from the beginning, because it was chambered in 9mm Luger, as opposed to the larger .45 ACP. Now, despite those critics, the M9 has served our armed forces very well for the last 30 years, but there have always been lingering concerns about the handgun's size, especially for use by more asymmetrical or special warfare units in restricted environments, and also its chambering. That dog has never gone away. People just still thought that the .45 was a better fight-stopping round. Fast forward to 2005, 2006, when the .45 push had gained enough momentum that the military launched the Joint Combat Pistol Program. Here they were looking to replace the M9 with something that was chambered in .45 ACP and was ready to accept suppressors. As happens with a lot of military procurement programs, the Joint Combat Pistol Program, it ended inconclusively. The M9 continued its faithful service, but in 2013 the Army issued a request for information that kicked off the Modular Handgun System search. Now, what the Army was looking for here was a handgun that would fit 90% of soldiers' hands, was ready to accept a suppressor, had a rail for other accessories, and generally was a modular design, hence the Modular Handgun System name. Interestingly, in the requirements for this new pistol, caliber was not specified. So that opened the door for people to think, well, are they looking for a .45, maybe a .357 SIG, or do they want to stick with the 9mm? Those questions all had to be answered in the program. So during the last few years, most of the major handgun manufacturers designed, built, and submitted pistols at great expense to themselves to the Army to be evaluated for the modular handgun system. Interestingly, despite there being no prescribed caliber in this search, the two choices that really seemed to rise to the top, at least according to rumors, were both 9mm. Now, I should note here that even though the Army was looking to replace Beretta's M9, the Italian firm didn't go quietly. In fact, they submitted designs for the M9A3, essentially a M9 design that met most of the requirements put forth in the Modular Handgun System RFI. But despite its best efforts, it seemed the two front runners were really going to be Glock, which already had a service history both with U.S. forces, mostly special warfare units, and around the world, or SIG Sauer's new P320, which seemed to be designed directly around these MHS requirements. In the end, in a surprise announcement with almost no transparency into how it was selected, the Army announced that SIG Sauer's P320 would be the new XM17. It will probably become the M17, and essentially it is a flat dark earth version, suppressor ready, of the company's P320 pistol. Now, despite the lack of information we have about the whole selection process, the Army is going to get a great sidearm if they do proceed and start procuring P320s. We have reviewed this pistol extensively here at American Rifleman. We even gave it a Golden Bullseye Award. Rest assured, this striker-fired semi-automatic handgun, it's a great pistol, and because of its modularity, it's going to be a great fit for the various services, the various needs that the Army has for a combat handgun. To stay up to date on the latest guns, gears, and the continuing saga of the XM17, be sure to tune in at AmericanRifleman.org.